This is 4 a.m. in the Woods, a chapter-by-chapter study featuring your favorite cup of joe and maybe some eye crusties. We roll out of bed and we crack open the Bible. When God called me to this series, He had us starting in 1 Samuel. It may be the movie-like qualities of this chapter, the exciting game of cat and mouse. We learned a lot. Our last chapter, in 1 Samuel, we learned about Saul's death and his ring bearer, fall of Israel. Now we're in 2 Samuel chapter 1. After the death of Saul, David returned from defeating the Amalekites and stayed at Ziklag for 2 days. He stayed at his own town, the one that the king gave him, for 2 days. On the third day, a man with torn clothes and dust on his head came from Saul's camp. When he came to David, he fell to the ground and paid homage. David asked him, "Where are you from?" He replied to him, "I've escaped from the Israelite camp." "What was the outcome? Tell me," David asked him. "The troops fled from battle," he answered. "Many of the troops have fallen and are dead. Also, Saul and his son Jonathan are dead." David asked the young man who had brought the report to you, "How do you know Saul and his sons are dead?" "I happened to be on Mount Gilboa," he replied, "and there was Saul leaning on his spear." We thought we got away from the spears. At that very moment, the chariots and the cavalry were closing in on him. When he turned around and saw me, he called out to me. So I answered, "I'm at your service." He asked me, "Who are you?" I told him, "I'm an Amalekite." Then he begged me, "Stand over me and kill me, for I'm mortally wounded, but my life still lingers." So I stood over him and killed him because I knew that after he had fallen, he couldn't survive. I took the crown that was on his head and the armband that was on his arm, and I've brought them here to my Lord. So that was a little cliffhanger because we thought he died in the last chapter. But this chapter, we're seeing he died a whole different way that we thought. Then David took hold of his clothes and tore them, and all the men with him did the same. They mourned, wept, and fasted until evening for those who died by the sword, for Saul, his son Jonathan, the Lord's people, and the house of Israel. David inquired of the young man who had brought him the report, "Where are you from?" "I'm the son of a resident alien," he said. "I'm an Amalekite." David questioned him, "How is it that you were not afraid to lift your hand to destroy the Lord's anointed?" Then David summoned one of his servants and said, "Come here and kill him." The servant struck him and he died. For David had said to the Amalekite, "Your blood is on your own head, because your mouth testified against you by saying, 'I killed the Lord's anointed.'" I mean, that's a lesson right there, not to touch the Lord's anointed, and definitely don't kill them. Then David sang the following lament for Saul. David was a songwriter, and he sang the song of lamentation for Saul and Jonathan. David was mourning for Saul. He wasn't dancing for joy. I mean, even after 10 years of Saul chasing him down and trying to kill him. That just goes to show that David has integrity and honor. I'm getting a little choked up. This is making me think of Jesus when he entered Jerusalem on a donkey, a symbolism of peace. He wasn't coming in the city as a warrior. He came to the city in peace, humble. And instead of saying, "Don't worry, y'all are gonna get yours," instead of that attitude, he was mourning. He mourned for Jerusalem. He cried on the way in because of the city and because of people who wouldn't surrender, because of people who were lost. And he had compassion for them and he loved them. Even though Saul was an enemy of David, David still loved him. He couldn't help it. He had the Holy Spirit. He couldn't help it. You love people. You love people who even hate you, and you can't explain how that happens. It just happens because the love overflows. Jesus says that when you love your brothers and sisters, that is immediate evidence that you are his disciple, is when you love other people. What greater way to feel loved first thing in the morning? What a timeline for David. He goes from shepherding to serving in the court of Saul to this sovereign leader. He's about to be king. I love that God gives us the word, the Bible, that is living and breathing for us. When we read it, we experience chemical brain changes that people have studied in science. It is a supernatural strengthening. And then it's educational for us. We're seeing the life of David and what he is doing, what he is going to transgress in, and so we can relate. It is relatable, and it gives God glory, and we get to hold on. We get to use this Bible every single day. And people say there's no instruction manual for life, and I literally read it this morning. I will see you all at the next 4 a.m. and we're gonna be in 2 Samuel chapter 2.